is Sylvia Rousseau, Dr. Sylvia Rousseau. I'm a clinical professor in the Rousseau School of Education at the University of Southern California.
Okay. And how long have you been in the business? I don't want to use the word business. How long have you been in the profession of education?
A very long time. Since 1968, I began my career teaching in a little town called Kokomo, Indiana. I was the first African American high school teacher that town had hired. But since then, I've taught English for 15 years. Then I became an administrator in a high school. After that, I was a principal at a high school, at Santa Monica High School, for 7 years. Then I became assistant superintendent in LAUSD, Los Angeles Unified School District, with oversight over secondary instruction and services. Then I became a superintendent of a local district in Los Angeles Unified School District, and now I am a professor of clinical education.
Okay, wow. So you obviously have done a lot, you've accomplished so much. I know that you're well respected among your peers and in the education community. In this day and age, there's so many opportunities, scholarships out there for students of different backgrounds, religious, ethnic, gender. What would be your best advice to somebody who may be a high school student trying to get into college? What should they look for in a college?
There are two sides to the equation. In some ways, there are a lot of opportunities, but in some ways, there are not a lot of opportunities. So on the one hand, I would encourage all students to look for, search for, be diligent, and prepare yourself for whatever opportunities are open. The job for the rest of us as educators is to increase the opportunities. There's a mentality of scarcity out there, that there are limited resources, and if one person gets something, then that's less for others. And I'm saying our job as a nation is to increase the opportunities for every child to fulfill his potential, to prepare to be a citizen of a democracy, and to make a contribution to the world, economically and spiritually and socially. So seek every opportunity. Remember that education is power, it's your liberation, and it's your contribution to the world. Your life and future don't belong just to you. You have an obligation to gain knowledge so that you can make the world better for every human being that lives in it. Education isn't just for you, it's your debt to a society. It's your debt to your ancestors, to those who love you, those who care about you, and those who are in the business of making a better nation and a better world.
Now, in all of your years of teaching and administration, what would you say is possibly the biggest obstacle for students in their quest for higher learning?
There are many obstacles, some that we create for ourselves and some that are institutionalized. So we have to be constantly vigilant to wherever there are barriers. There are barriers and perceptions about who's smart and who can learn. I encourage every student not to be discouraged by what others think about you, but that you trust that you have, that you were made and created to be successful. You were made and created to make a contribution. So we have to resist the obstacles, whether they're psychological or economic or sociological, psychological. Those barriers are there. But your job is to have confidence in yourself. And when doors seem closed, you find new doors to go through. That you will create opportunities for yourself, and that you will pursue the best in yourself.
Okay, and one final question I wanted to ask you is that I work for a company called MinorityRecruit, and our company was created to help people of different backgrounds, whether ethnic, religious, gender, find a college that would fit to them, find something that was a diversity-friendly college, diversity-friendly internship, co-ops, and then once they've gotten out of college, a diversity-friendly workplace. Do you think a site like this is important? Is it relevant? Is it needed? What is your assessment of it?
I think this is an important service to provide. In spite of the many opportunities that are there, students don't always have knowledge of those opportunities or access to them. They don't have the social capital to know where they lie and how to make them available to themselves. So every opportunity, every medium, every venue, every source that we can provide that will open up venues for all students. We are a nation that needs to be an educated nation. We should not operate in a mentality that only a few can afford or only a few resources are there. We need to constantly expand opportunities. If we're to remain a great nation, we need every citizen to have knowledge, to have skills, and to be a contributor to a more humane and a more just and a more equitable society. So look for those opportunities. Thank you for every venue that makes it their job to open these opportunities, to open and make available your right to be fulfilled as a human being.